it's very important that one of the main motivators in life is that you actually do what you want. My favorite philosopher is actually Nietzsche, but he was very inspired by Schopenhauer. And my favorite quote is, you can do what you want, but you cannot want what you want. And it's so true. Like you can actually, if you want something, you can do it or not. If you have the courage or the energy to do it, you can do it or not. But you can never decide what it is you want, because either you want it or you don't. So our office here in Copenhagen, we have maybe 25 different nationalities. One of the advantages of having multiple people collaborating from different cultures and different backgrounds is that the tendency to take things for granted diminishes, because nobody has exactly the same references. By bringing people together from different backgrounds, everything gets questioned. Nothing is taken for granted. And you end up turning more stones than you would otherwise. And you end up having these accidental discoveries. Also, I think a major part of innovation is the migration of ideas. Good design is a design that is informed by specific information. What kind of a climate do you have? What kind of a building code do you have? What kind of a social behavior do you have and would you like to promote? So that everything you do is actually done for a specific purpose. Because I think good design is careful, bad design is careless. And what we're interested in is trying to find ways of using contemporary engineering, technology, the capacity to model and simulate and calculate to respond to the local climate in ways that are not based on machinery, but based on the design of the building, so that a building in Dubai is going to look radically different from a building in Copenhagen. So we don't call it architecture without architects, because that would be putting us out of a job. But we call it engineering without engines. I think what's in a bizarre way unique about our work is that we actually do what we say. So that like each project somehow we start by diving into the specific situation. What's the city? What's the landscape? What's the climate? What do the neighbors look like? What has to happen here? Like we try to look at all these practicalities, and we also try to see what do people normally do? Like how would you normally build this kind of school? So in the end, you can say like our buildings end up looking different because they perform different. So I think the starting point is always to try to establish what are the key criteria, what is the most important question. And once you've identified the question, all you need to do is answer it. But you won't arrive at the right answer in the first go. So what you have to do is test and see how it actually works once you put the hypothesis into its consequence. Whenever we start a project, we will try to analyze what could be the key criteria in this specific situation. What's the most important issue? And then we try to make little design ideas that respond to those criteria. And then we try to mate the ideas. We try to see if we can combine maximum density with maximum views and sunlight, and see what does that look like. So almost in this sort of Darwinian evolution, we sort of select and combine different criteria, different parental ideas, get different offspring. Some of them turn into mutants, and some of them turn into really interesting hybrids. So it becomes like this sort of evolutionary process, but it's also a quite wasteful process. You have to examine and investigate and test all these ideas. And my general principle is the more waste you produce in the design process, the less waste you'll end up building in the city.